Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. This lesson is just going to be going into some of the curses. Really just one, how the Lord Yahweh said he would smite the women of Judah with baldness. So I'm going to just start off here. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And I'm going to jump around a little bit. So the point being is that these curses are on us. And part of these signs is, part of the signs of who we are, the Israelites, which have been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, looking like the different nations, being among the different nations, are these curses. They're an identifier. So we recognize them within ourselves. We recognize them with others. Now that doesn't mean that other people, other nations, don't have their ailments or whatnot, but primarily this happens to, Jake more often. It's an identifier. So part of the things that you see is our women, especially the Southern Kingdom, wear wigs. They wear other people's hairs because they can't grow their own hair, is what I'm getting at. And it's a curse. So starting here, let me start at verse 60. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 60. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law. So you have Deuteronomy 15, Deuteronomy 28, starting at verse 15 all the way down to verse 68, are curses that were to befall us. But then there's other curses also in here that aren't written in the book of the law, which, I'm going to get to. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. So this is a curse that's not written here in Deuteronomy 28, but you see it. It's actually written about in Isaiah. So let me get this. This is Isaiah 3, and I'm going to start at verse 16. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Like we still see it to this day. The daughters of Zion. We see the so-called black woman, the so-called Israelite woman. It doesn't matter. She don't have to be from Judah. It could be any of the tribes. They walk around proud, but mainly Judah. So-called black woman, the so-called Negro woman. They walk around proud. Walking around proud with them big fake eyelashes. Walking around proud, bald, wearing other people's hair. Stinking, wearing fake eyelashes. Wearing other people's hair. Wearing animal hair. All this proud for no reason. In a low state. Walking around with bonnets on. Or shower caps, whatever those are. In verse 17, therefore the Lord will smite thee with a scab, the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. So let's get this word scab. This is H5596 Sapach. This is join together to attach. Well, yeah, the scab to cause a scab upon, to smite with a scab. And then I'm gonna jump down to the last few verses. This is verse 24. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. So let's see here. The well set hair. Oops, wrong one. Quarak says baldness. So we know, those of us that know, I mean, everybody knows black women ain't got no hair. So I'm gonna come back to this, but for right now, I'm just gonna go to a quick Google search because there's a disease that's called it's a type of alopecia, and it's kind of hard to. It's got so many, but anyway, it's called centrifugal psychotrichial alopecia, and it's a type of alopecia. So this primarily affects, women of African descent. But let me just go to this causes, because a curse can be on one person, but it's also can be hereditary. So each generation is judged up into the third and fourth generation, but you can continuously be judged, and this is a part of the curses. The curses are going to cleave to you. So the causes, though previously thought to be solely related to the use of hot combs, excessive heat, and hot oils on the scalp, chemical relaxers, and excessive tension from braids, tight hair rollers, weaves, or extensions, the current thought also points to heredity, family history playing a role. But anyway, just going to that these curses can be hereditary or are hereditary. But this is let me go back to that though, because I had that open in a tab. This is the NCBI. This is just like a National Library of Medicine. And this is centrifugal psychotrichial alopecia. And it says, this alopecia is common. I don't feel like keep saying it over and over again. Let's just say CCCA is a common condition that mostly affects women of African descent and may occur in families. The etiology of CCCA or CCA right there is multifactorial. But anyway, it's just showing that this affects so-called African American women, the so-called Judah. And most, when you get scars or whatnot, those are like they start to scab over first. But this is the introduction. Centrifugal psychotrichial alopecia is a unique form of scarring alopecia that it's a unique form. What are the curses? The curses are for signs and wonders. If it wouldn't be unique, otherwise, something unique, something that's a wonder is it wouldn't be something wouldn't be wonderful, or you wouldn't wonder at something if it didn't stand out. So this is something that stands out. It's a unique form of scarring alopecia that clinically presents as patches of permanent hair loss on the vertex or crown of the scalp. What did it say? Let me see. Let me just go back to this real quick. It says, instead of well set hair, baldness, back to verse 17, says, I will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. So come on. The hair loss on the vertex or crown of the scalp and spreads centrifugally. Let's get that word. No. Oh my gosh. Moving or directed away from the sensor or axis. So it starts at the crown and starts spread it out. So continuing on, this type of hair loss is associated with signs and symptoms of inflammation. Hey, matter of fact, let's go back to that because that's let me see, that's verse 22. It says Deuteronomy 28 and verse 22. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever and with an inflammation and with an extreme burning and with the sword and with blasting and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. So these are that inflammation right there. Oops, I'm keep on clicking the wrong. H1816 Dalaquath says a burning, fever, inflammation. So what does this say right here? It's a type of inflammation. So there it is. The curse is all over this. It is a common condition that usually affects women of African descent and it runs in families. There is limited data available about the treatment of CCCA. The treatment modalities include topical and systemic corticosteroids and oral tetracyclines with limited response, meaning that, hey, these curses are on you. There ain't nothing they can do. They ain't figured nothing out. There's no way around this. You could try whatever, but hey, it's gonna be on you. The cause of CCCA is not clear. There are various theories about the etiology of CCCA. One hypothesis suggests that there is a strong association between CCCA and different hair care products used by black women, like chemical relaxers, blah blah blah. No, it's sin. It's you not doing what the Lord says. That's it. It's the bottom line. Your own wickedness has brought this upon you. And before I close out, just this, like, when you line these stuff up with the scriptures, it becomes so much more obvious and clear of what's going on with our people. Like, this doesn't happen to other people. This doesn't happen to the so-called small hats. This don't happen to all these other people. This happens to specific groups of people. Then this says here, specifically happens to so-called women of African descent. So that's just an identifier. But let me go from here. I had this pulled up on the Instagram. Just different. Just going through different images, like these people. You see this woman bald. See right here, bald. I'm not trying to play the music. Bald. I ain't trying to watch that. See here. See, it's at the crown of the head. See here. That's just a guy, I guess. I don't know what that is. Another one. See the balding at the crown of the head. And what do they have here? They mostly, the majority of this is all so-called black women. So-called black women. Not that one, probably. So-called black women. Still looking proud. But this looks like it's just kind of repeating. But anyway, hey, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to say all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 the rest of the elect. Shalom.